Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Akim, who go out throughout the four corners of the earth to teach us truth and sincerity, risking your lives to do so. It's the brother Tawab Ash from the Great Millstone Northwest Camp, coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect of the nation of Israel, and it exposes more and more of Esau's wickedness and his lies. Right, so I'm gonna get right into it. I want to play a little bit of this video. Just listen to what she said.
And this lie, although it still works for them and other countries, it's not for America's profit, but because they want to be the saviors of the world. They're the exceptional nation. And this lie, although it still works for them, America has just lost its moral standing in the world because of all.
Right, lost their moral standing in the world.
Its treasury.
Right, it's lost its moral standing in the world because of all these false wars. Right, and what she said is that America doesn't need the permission of the international community. It's seeking the permission from the American people, right? So they got to trick the American people into thinking they're doing something right when they're out there doing this wickedness.
Now it's lost its insanity, and if people don't stand up to America, if the world does not stand up to America, then war for the world, because the world will change as we know it.
Right. Hey, and that's real. And the world is going to change as you know it. Real talk. Right? All right. So first, I want to get into, because, this devil Esau, which is the so-called white man, has tricked the whole world into coming against Israel, because in the beginning, Jacob and Esau have always been mortal enemies. And he said, after the days of mourning for my father are over, that's when he was going to come after us, and come after us he did, and hasn't stopped since. Right? But he's also tricked the whole rest of these nations into doing the same, right? Coming up against the nation of Israel, which is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, right? This is Psalms chapter 83, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy little ones, or hidden ones. And how did they do that? They set up these UN, EU councils, right? Summits, where they get together and they talk about how they can keep us under their thumb. Right, so therefore all of these nations are guilty. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, right? And they did that. They tricked the whole world into thinking that these Amalekites, these fake Jewish rats, right, who are from the Khazarian Empire, right? They have tricked the whole world into thinking that they are the children of the Most High, when when we all know that that's a lie. That's an easy lie to prove. So they cut us off from being a nation. They beat it out of us, beat our language out of us, cut our hair, raped us, put us in these schools or concentration camps, right? That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, right? And that's why Gabdul Nasir, what's his name, from the old president or prime minister from Egypt, said, how did the Jews leave black and come back white? Right? Because it's a bold-faced lie that these devils are telling. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Confederate against thee. Right? The tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmael, the Moabs, right? All of these other nations are against us, and they have come up with a council against us, right? That's why they're able to use our babies as organ donors, and they kidnap our children and use their organs and pieces of their body to enhance themselves. There's a lot of wickedness that goes on that Esau does. And it's cool that Alex Jones kind of brings out some of that information on these devils, but he's an idiot too. But just saying. All right, this is Revelation chapter 17, verse 16. Because eventually, with all these so-called sanctions that they're putting on everybody, all these nations are starting to get upset. Right? It's okay when they're just fucking Israel up, but now they're trying to, get into everybody's pockets. And by getting into everybody's pockets, these other nations ain't really dealing with that. They seen what happened to Gaddafi, right? They're losing, like that chick said, they're losing their moral identity in the world. Everybody knows that they're wicked, right? Revelation 17 and 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, which represents the EU, right? These shall hate the Lord, and really it represents all of their summits, right? So the EU, the NATO, all of these confederations. You even have all the other nations involved with that: Ham, Moab, Ammon, Japheth, right? Anyway, the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire, right? So all these nations that she's confederated with, and she is the Babylon the great whore, right? She was ruling in these nations, right? But the reason she was ruling in these nations because everybody was benefiting. But now that America's wounds can't be healed, they're starting to put pressure on all these other nations, and then with their friends, they change the name of these sanctions and they call them tariffs. But with their enemies, they call them sanctions because it's a punishment, right? But a tariff isn't a punishment, right? Basically, they're just being the devil that they are. All right, this is Revelation 18 and 8. Therefore shall her, and it said that her land is going to be desolate, or she will be desolate and naked, meaning she's being exposed, right? But now that she's exposed, right, they're going to burn her with fire, it said. All these other nations are going to turn on the nation of America, right? And you can see it starting to happen now. Revelation 18 and 8, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh power, who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth, who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning, right? So all of these nations are going to set off their ICBM missiles at the same time and hit this place. Not only that, but you're going to have Yahweh Shai, who said he didn't come to bring peace on earth but a sword. He's going to have that sword coming up against these devils as well. Them what they call UFOs, which are actually the chariots of Yahweh, that the angels are going to be in, and Yahweh Shai is going to be in. As he left, is same as how he's going to come. And this place is going to be on fire, right? Being cleansed, as it talks about in the second chapter of Second Peter. Second Peter, the third chapter. They shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see her smoke burning, because this place is going to be on fire forever. Right, and this is all the punishment that the Most High is going to give when he comes back and finds the nation of Israel still in bondage here. And saying, alas, alas, the great city. Oh, this is verse 16, jumping down to 16. And saying, alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off, right? And that's exactly how America trades. Right, you have these longshoremen who pull off these craters off of these boats or off these ships, load all of that stuff into the veins of America, which is these 18 wheelers, and then they ship everything across country. But all the trade starts in the sea, right? But that's all going to come to an end, right? They're ruining their trade. They're ruining their ability to trade, and all these nations are going to come up against America once it tries to go to war with Iran, because everybody's tired of the bullshit. Right? They're all going to turn on America. The Most High is going to put it in their spirits to be hardened towards this whore, and they're going to set off their ICBM missiles during the War of Armageddon, and it's going to hit multiple places, but this is the main place it's going to hit. And these right aiming thunderbolts, right, the intense laser beams from these UFOs are also going to be intensifying the burning here, and America's going to be destroyed with thermonuclear fire, right, as the Bible prescribes, right? The Most High he's not coming to bring peace on earth but a sword, right? So if you can't deal with that, you can't deal with the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai, the Most High and His Son. You can't, you don't believe, and it's not for everybody. That's the most beautiful thing about it. But with that, I'm gonna wrap this up. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. You can check out that video. It's on RT. And it's just getting into, how Esau is just doing all this wickedness, and he's weaponizing his economy, is what he's doing. It's funny, they call it the ICBS, Intercontinental Ballistic Sanctions. Hey, with that, I'm going to say shalom, brother.